Okay. Good morning. It is almost 8, and I am on my way from basically Atlanta to Palm Springs in California. And just want to kind of talk about some of the stuff because, first and foremost, I hardly ever listen to music in the car. I used to. I used to be a musician and, played on stage, thousands of people, and a lot of noise, a lot of amplification that has kind of given me enough pain in my life so that at some point I stopped listening to music in the car, and I actually like it quiet. So that's one thing. I will try to record as much as I can of the drive. It will probably be super boring. I was hoping that I would get the full self-driving version 11 before my trip to California, but unfortunately, the wide release last weekend skipped a lot of people, and so yeah, there is no there's no version 11, which means when I am going on the interstate, it will just be regular autopilot, or not actually regular. Oh man, poor dear. Actually, regular autopilot or enhanced autopilot where I can switch lanes, but I am not able to use version 11, which I was hoping for. But hey, it may come at a later point. Maybe I get a software update while I'm driving, and then I will install it, and I will see how the difference is. So, um, talking about the drive, I am going through Birmingham, and from Birmingham going up on 22, I-22. Is it? Don't look too much on the screen. Going up on I-22 to Memphis, and then going on I-40 and stay on I-40 pretty much all the way over to Yucca Valley is where I'm kind of going to. So I will go through Oklahoma City and Amarillo, Albuquerque, and there would be, I have to see if I'm going through Flagstaff, which I usually do. I kind of like the scenery there, but I will have to look at the at the weather, obviously. And which reminds me, there's a super nice app, windy.com, windy like the wind, and with windy you can see the crosswinds or the winds all together. You can pick something on the map, click on it, and it will show you the weather there. But not only the weather, it will also show you kind of local webcams. And so if you have those webcams, you can see what the conditions on the roads are, like if there's snow, if it's raining or whatever is going on. So that's not a bad thing. And this is since I got this car last year in February, and I have been driving to basically Palm Springs, then to Sacramento. Was in San Francisco, and to Lake Tahoe, and then went back to direction Los Angeles and then going back on I-40, going back home. That was pretty much in May, April-ish. Then in June, I went to Palm Springs for 2 weeks. And in December, went to Yucca Valley again, visit my friend Uwe, which I'm going to right now. And he came with me, and we drove all the way back to Chattanooga to pick somebody up there, and then spending Christmas and New Year's at home. And that trip was very interesting because it was super cold, like minus 14, 15, 16 degrees Celsius, which I think is around the 0 Fahrenheit mark. And I had very reduced range on the car, and it was painful. The winds were really strong. December 2022. And we had icy roads on some parts. I have all-weather tires on it, and I basically, right before the trip, I put on new tires on the front. The ones in the back were still pretty good, so I had the same brand tire in the front, in the back, and mostly new, which came in handy because like a summer tire on icy roads is not what you want to do. Not at all. And so yeah, 3 trips cross country, and that was fun. I like road tripping. And again, what I'm trying to do is to record as much as I can. I bought this 360 Insta 360 X3 camera, which is, recording in 360 view. And while I did some videos earlier on it, I noticed the camera starts to overheat when I use the highest quality setting. And I contacted the company, and I had emails back and forth talking about what I should do, formatting the SD card on the computer, doing this, doing that. And the camera still seems to get quite warm and then starts freezing up when I use the 5.7K 30 frames per second mode or so. Therefore, I decided to go to downgrade to 4K and 24 frames per second, which is pretty plenty. There's not really much going on. I'm driving, and it does capture what's going on. So sorry if that's not the super crisp quality that you would want to see on a video, but I kind of have to, record quite a lot of footage. I have this battery case with some 2 extra SD cards that help me record, and I will have my laptop and kind of circulate around and do some somebody behind me, and do some downloading to the computer, and then freeing up those SD cards and kind of rotate it in a way. See how that goes. Yeah, so that's what's going on. So most of the drive I will more or less just sit in the car. I will probably turn off the audio altogether, so that I can, if I get a phone call, I can be on the phone call and not having to think about, oh, what of those 2,000 miles that you just drove did you have a phone call, and when did you do this, when did you do that? So mostly will be silent. You can, if you want to watch it, you know, you can play your own track of music to it, so you wouldn't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about any copyrights, and then again, I don't really listen to music. I may, at some point when I get really tired, the plan is, which I have done now multiple times, the plan is using autopilot to do the work, to drive and keep this car going, and me just basically wiggling the steering wheel every now and then and be like a passenger in my own car and keep driving all the way non-stop, meaning when I'm charging somewhere and I'm tired, then I will just take those 30 minutes, whichever long it will be, to take a quick nap and then keep driving to the next charger, charge, take a little nap, and keep driving. So I have been doing this quite successfully, and I'm pretty sure some people will say, oh, how can you do this? That's very unsafe, but I am using autopilot. It does stay in the lane and keeps the car in the lane. There are certain areas where the markings are really bad, so you would have to pay much more attention to it. There are some construction zones sometimes. Actually, the last drive in December, it was pretty decent. And yeah, so that's what's going on. So if I end up taking a lot of video material on this drive and perhaps, you know, videotape the whole drive. Why do I say videotape? Record. There's no tape involved in this. Record the whole drive, then it will be quite a lot of material that is perhaps super boring. But what I'm trying to do with the Insta360 X3 camera is to shoot it in kind of virtual reality mode. So if you have some headgear, some VR headgear or so with a phone, then you would be able to tune into the video and see the entire drive on a headset and look around, and just basically wherever you look, you see what the camera recorded. And it's a quite interesting experience, I have to say. I tried it out once. I have a VR gear from Samsung, which is quite old, and it doesn't really, my phone is a bit too big, but I made it work just for a few minutes, and it's quite an interesting experience to sit in a Tesla, if you haven't been in a Tesla before, and feel like you are actually driving along. So, with this being said, it's a long drive ahead of us. I haven't had any breakfast yet. I will probably stop at some Starbucks, or maybe I keep going to Leeds. That's the first stop that I'm planning on doing. And which is interesting, it's a Buc-ee's. Leeds has quite a lot of superchargers there, the V3 ones. And just recently they added an Electrify America charger, which I actually will use the Electrify America charger in order to see how it works there. And I also will give some ratings on Rate My Charge on Twitter and take some video for that. And there will be plenty of chargers I'm stopping at, so mostly obviously Tesla superchargers. And yeah, I will check in and post those when I'm charging. and then we see how it goes. So this is the beginning of a trip. Actually, one thing I wanted to do is, which is a little bit not too late maybe. I wanted to use the stopwatch, so just to see how long I'm driving. So I started this. Let's say I started this 18 minutes late. Still in Atlanta, still good. Yeah, I have my trip set to Palm Springs. So far I have been driving 20 miles, and you see my average energy, or you might not be able to see it, it's 4.1 watts per mile, which is quite high. So I'm trying to see how that evolves over time. And let me see on the trip here. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for now. I will keep the mic on for a minute in case I'm thinking about something else I want to say. But that's about it. Sitting in a car, driving down the interstate. Oh, another thing I wanted to do is turn on Waze. I don't want to do a lane change. I'm not really sure why the car is suggesting to change lanes. I don't want to. Bizarre. Never used to do this here. I've been driving this so many times. I guess it's more emptier on those other lanes. Who knows? Yeah, using Waze for not necessarily for the police, but for things that are laying around on the road, some hazards or so. I like to be informed if there's something laying on the road, that I'm not just kind of running over it and then find out, but perhaps people, report it. So, and here we go, Atlanta, just like clockwork. Whenever you come here to the Gwinnett Mall, traffic picks up. Fun times. Yep. So, get my headset out in case somebody's calling me. Let the fun begin. The weather should be nice. Most of the drive, it will get colder, below freezing in around Flagstaff, which is to be expected. And yeah, hopefully lots of sunshine and not any rain or strong winds. That would not be fun. That wouldn't be fun at all. Also, one thing to note is I'm obviously talking like, you know, I'm uploading this material in the next 5 minutes, and you're already able to see it, but in actuality, it probably will take some time. So we have the police behind us. Which most people don't really look into the rear view mirror. I saw them coming from quite a distance. And probably something happened. I hope it's not impacting me in terms of having to wait for a long time here. So yeah, lost my train of thoughts here with all of this, but either way, I will not upload something like within the next 5 minutes or so. So whenever anybody is going to be able to see this, I might even already be back home. And kind of focusing on traffic here, even though I'm in self-driving mode. But sometimes people just decide to hop over into this lane unannounced. And so I'm ready for whatever needs to be done here, hitting the brakes. So yeah, the material will probably be recorded. I will have to export it, upload it to YouTube. I'm not gonna be able to upload gigabytes of data on the go, and so most of those videos will be online when I'm already back home. So yeah, whatever I'm saying right now is already in the past, already happened, is already kind of days old, and that's how it is. Oh, another thing I wanted to say, if you live in Atlanta and you buy an electric car, this stretch that I'm on here right now, if you have the green license plate, you don't need to pay for using this express lane here. I'm looking at the screen. I'm looking. Why are you yelling at me here? um, you don't need to. You don't need to pay. So like this VW on the right-hand side that I'm just passing, the ID4 with a green license plate, you don't have to pay here in this express lane. You still need this peach pass up here that I have, but you don't really need to pay. So whatever it says, $4.50 or so, I don't have to pay. Like during the day, rush hour, it sometimes goes up to $10, $12 or so, which is quite a perk if you don't have to pay for it. And also here in Atlanta, if you have the green license plate, you are able to be in the carpool lane by yourself when you have the green license plate. So that goes for any electric car that you have to apply for the license plate though. But if you do have an electric car, you qualify for it, you can have the green license plate. And there are even some other cars like Flex Fuel or so that qualify for it too. So if you do have this, you can actually be in this lane by yourself, and sometimes very convenient, especially if you are a commuter. You have to go to work and come here somewhere from Swanee, Gwinnett, Lawrenceville, wherever. Could be quite a perk. So if you think about buying an electric car, don't you know miss out on that license plate. And I think it goes also in other areas. I know in California you can use this too for carpool lanes, but you have to get a sticker which is like super big and super ugly, and a lot of people don't really like this. But yeah. That's about it for the express lane here. Ah, okay, this is what's going on. It wants me to go this way, which I will not do. And there you go. Watch out, object on road ahead. So this is why I like Waze. Keep an eye out for something that might be laying around here. There it is. Nice. Still there. Not as dangerous where it was, but if you have some big tire chunks laying around, you don't want to run over it, or a sofa, or whatever it might be. Which is so funny to me, coming from Germany. The Autobahn is super clean. There's hardly anything laying around, no debris. If there's an accident, it's going to be swept and cleaned after that from any debris that is laying around. On certain areas we have fences so that the wildlife can actually not enter the Autobahn, and have bridges that are just for, hang on, excuse me, have bridges that are actually just for the deers, for the wildlife. And oh, so they can cross safely. And obviously that's something you want to do if you have no speed limit and people go like 160 miles an hour or so. If you have a deer crossing and you hit the deer with 150 miles an hour, there's not much